When life is hurting, there comes a moment, alone in the dark with your heart pounding and your soul screaming, when life doesn't just test you, it tries to break you. You stare at the ceiling, fist clenched, wondering how much more you can take. And that pain, that crushing silence, that voice inside whispering, "Give up," that is where the real war begins. See, nobody's coming to save you. No one cares how tired you are. The world respects power, not pity. When life is hurting, most people fold. They drown in comfort, hide behind excuses, and beg for sympathy. But you, if there's even a flicker of fire inside, you stand. Broken? Maybe. Bleeding? Probably. But still standing. Life isn't fair. It will knock you down when you least expect it. But guess what? You're not made to stay down. You fight through the tears, through the betrayal, through the losses. Why? Because deep down, there's a beast inside you that refuses to die. And every time you rise when life tries to bury you, that's when you become dangerous, ruthlessly unstoppable. You're not here to survive. You're here to conquer. Pain is the currency of greatness. Spend it well. Most people misunderstand pain. They think it's a curse, something to run from, something to numb or avoid at all costs. But that's the mindset of the weak, of the ones who will never rise. Pain isn't punishment. It's not life being unfair. It's not some cruel twist of fate. Pain is the universe handing you a torch, setting your soul on fire, and giving you a choice. Are you going to burn in it or burn with it? Pain is fuel. Raw, brutal, unfiltered energy. It doesn't ask for permission. It doesn't wait for your schedule to clear. It shows up when you're comfortable, when you're relaxed, when you've let your guard down. And it does that for one reason, because comfort is a lie. Growth never happens when you're safe. Strength doesn't come from feeling good. It comes from being torn apart and deciding through the agony to rebuild anyway. Every painful moment you've endured, every betrayal, every failure, every night you cried with no one to hear you, those weren't signs you were weak. They were tests. And if you're still breathing, still standing, even after the storm, then you passed the test. You just didn't realize it yet. The world doesn't hand out strength for free. You pay for it with sweat, tears, and scars. That's the cost. That's the price of becoming something unbreakable. People love the idea of greatness. They love the look of it, the sound of it, but they hate what it takes. They want success without sacrifice. They want victory without suffering. And that's exactly why they never taste it. The truth is simple. Pain separates the pretenders from the real ones. Pain is the battlefield where you either fold or forge. And when you stop seeing it as an attack and start seeing it as your teacher, everything changes. Look back on your life. What made you stronger? What really built your character? Was it the easy days? Was it when everything was going right? No, it was when everything fell apart. It was when you had nothing and still chose to keep moving. It was when you got rejected, betrayed, doubted, and you stood anyway. That's what built you, not the comfort, not the praise. The pain. You think the champions, the warriors, the ones who dominate got there by chance? You think they just got lucky? No. They were just the ones who kept going when it hurt the most. While others stopped, they suffered forward. While others cried for help, they hardened. They looked pain in the face and said, "Is that all you've got?" That's why they're ahead. That's why they're different. They understood the code. Pain isn't a sign to quit. It's a signal to rise. You either let pain define you or you let it refine you. That's the choice. It can destroy you or it can build a version of you that never existed before. But it doesn't happen passively. You've got to choose to see pain as a weapon. Every ache, every doubt, every moment you wanted to give up, it's energy. Use it, channel it. Let it remind you that you're still alive, still breathing, and still dangerous. There's a fire inside you that pain wakes up. And once that fire is burning, no one can touch you because you've walked through hell and came out with ashes on your fists. And now you don't just survive the pain, you use it. You feed on it. And that hunger, that unshakable drive becomes your edge. It becomes your identity. The next time life hits you, don't flinch. Don't retreat. Smile. Welcome it. Let it hurt. Let it cut deep. And then stand up, bloody, bruised, but alive. Because pain is not the end. It's the beginning. It's the pressure that turns coal into diamonds. It's the storm that carves warriors out of ordinary people. If you embrace it, if you stop running, you'll realize that every painful moment you endure is not the world punishing you. It's the world preparing you, equipping you, sharpening you. You're not weak for feeling pain. You're powerful for surviving it. And when you learn to fuel yourself with it, you become unstoppable. This truth is brutal, it's cold, it doesn't feel good to hear, but it's real. And the sooner you accept it, the sooner your life begins to change. We grow up on the idea that someone will show up. That someday, somehow, a mentor, a partner, a parent, a friend, a miracle, someone will see our struggle and reach in to pull us out. But that day doesn't come, not the way we think it will. And when you finally realize it, when the illusion shatters, it either breaks you or it awakens. Nobody is coming to fix your life. Nobody is coming to hold your hand and guide you to greatness. Nobody is going to feel your pain the way you do. They might care, they might listen, but they won't live it for you. They won't walk through your darkness, they won't carry your weight, and they definitely won't drag you to the top. That climb, that war, that's on you. Fully, completely. You've got people waiting on help, praying that someone rescues them from their misery. And while they wait, the world keeps moving. The successful, the hungry, the obsessed. They're not waiting. They're working. They're figuring it out. They're falling, failing, learning, building again. Because they understood the game early. The cavalry is not coming. There's no safety net. And once you realize you're alone in this fight, something shifts inside you. You stop waiting. You become the help. You become the rescue. You become the solution. Look at the strongest people you know, the ones you admire. You think they got handed strength? No. They built it from nothing, from pain, from silence, from nights where they had to sit with their own demons and wrestle through it with no applause, no recognition, no backup plan. You can't fake that kind of strength. It's earned, and the cost is high. You may be stuck. You may feel like you're drowning, overwhelmed, exhausted, and maybe you've been crying out, hoping someone hears you. Maybe you've been posting, hinting, wishing someone picks up on how bad things are. But listen to me. No one's going to feel your hunger the way you do. No one's going to save you from the life you refuse to change. You save yourself through action, through discipline, through raw, relentless effort that no one sees. Yes, it's hard. It's terrifying to accept responsibility for everything wrong in your life. But that responsibility is your power. Because if it's your responsibility, then it's your control. You stop being the victim. You stop being the one who gets tossed around by circumstance. You stop giving your power away to people, to luck, to timing. And you say, if no one's coming, then I'm going to figure this out on my own, even if it hurts, even if it takes years, even if I have to drag myself inch by inch through the fire, I will. That mindset is rare. Most won't adopt it. Most would rather sit and hope. They'd rather be rescued than rebuilt. But those who do embrace it, they're the ones who become untouchable. Because once you saved yourself, nobody can threaten you with loss. You've already walked through hell, and you did it without help. Now, you're unshakable. Saving yourself means getting up when it makes no sense. It means doing the work when no one's watching. It means becoming the parent you never had, the coach you never met, the friend you always needed. It means talking to yourself like someone who refuses to lose. It means learning to move forward while you're bleeding, while you're tired, while you're afraid. There's nothing glamorous about it. It's ugly, it's quiet, but it's real. And when you make it out, because you will, everything changes. You walk differently. You talk differently. You stop begging for permission. You stop apologizing for taking space because you know what it took to become you. You remember the nights you almost broke, the mornings you wanted to stay in bed, the days you showed up anyway. You remember who didn't show up, and it no longer matters because you did. You became your own hero. That's what nobody is coming really means. It's not a sentence of doom. It's a wake-up call. A brutal, honest gift, because once you embrace it, you stop expecting easy. You stop looking for shortcuts. You stop depending on anyone else to give you what you can build yourself. And when you finally save yourself, when you claw your way through brick by brick, you don't just change your life. You become a lighthouse. You show others that it's possible, not because you saved them, but because you saved yourself. And in a world full of victims, that's rare. That's powerful. That's unstoppable. Suffering is the gateway to strength. That isn't just a poetic phrase, it's a law of life. Every ounce of strength you admire in others, every unshakable person you see walking tall, every legend who moved through the world with power, they were carved through suffering. Not in comfort, not in safety, not in ease, but through long seasons of pain that broke them open and forced them to either rise or be buried. You don't learn who you are when everything is perfect. You don't build character when you're winning. Strength is born in the storm, in the struggle, in the days where your body aches and your mind whispers, why keep going? That's where you find your edge. That's where the old version of you begins to die and something harder, sharper, more relentless begins to form. But it never comes for free. You pay for strength and suffering. People want to be strong, but they don't want the process. They want the title without the war. But life doesn't work like that. You don't get stronger because you read a quote or watched a video that motivated you. You get stronger because life slammed into you like a freight train, and instead of running, you stood up and said, hit me again. That's what suffering does. It strips you bare. It removes all the lies you tell yourself. It takes away the comfort you used to hide behind. When you suffer, there's no filter, no pretending. It's just you and the pain, and that's where the real work begins. Not the fake motivation, not the surface level change. The real transformation happens when you are knee deep in the struggle and you decide not to quit. No. Suffering isn't always fair. Sometimes it comes out of nowhere. You lose someone you love. You get betrayed. You fail despite giving everything. You're left questioning your worth, your direction, your entire identity. But even then, the pain is not the end. It's the door. Most people stop at the pain. They freeze. They numb themselves with distractions, with blame, with avoidance. But the ones who become great, they go through it. They walk into the fire with their teeth clenched and their soul screaming because they know there's something on the other side that you can't get any other way. Every scar you carry, every wound that hasn't fully healed is proof that you've lived through something that could have broken you and you're still here. That is not weakness. That is the root of your strength. Real power doesn't come from having an easy life. It comes from surviving hell and choosing not to become bitter, not to become small, but to rise, wiser, tougher, and more focused than ever before. Suffering teaches you discipline. When you've had days where getting out of bed felt impossible, but you did it anyway, you build grit. When you've trained, worked, built, or fought through exhaustion, rejection, and failure, that's where the mental muscle is built. Suffering isn't the enemy. Quitting is. Weakness isn't feeling pain. Weakness is letting pain define you. You have to rewire your mindset. Stop asking why it hurts and start asking what it's making you become. Stop trying to skip the pain and start recognizing that inside that suffering is the version of you that's unstoppable. You don't gain strength by wishing things were easier. You gain strength by becoming the type of person who can handle anything because you have handled everything. The truth is, suffering reveals the truth about your heart. It shows you what matters. It wipes away the ego, the image, the surface level nonsense. When you're in the pit, when it's dark and quiet and no one's watching, you find out who you really are. And in that raw, honest place, strength is forged. You may be in that place now. Maybe you're going through something you didn't choose. Maybe the pain feels endless. But I'm telling you, it's building you. Every tear, every sleepless night, every moment where you felt invisible or misunderstood, it's shaping you. You are becoming something different. And when the dust settles and the pain finally fades, you won't even recognize the old version of you because suffering didn't just hurt you. It changed you. It sculpted you. It gave you the kind of strength that no one can hand you and no one can take away. You'll move differently. You'll walk into rooms with the silent confidence of someone who's already been through the worst and came out harder. That's what suffering does. It gives you presence. It gives you power. And most of all, it gives you a story. Not one filled with excuses or complaints, but one of triumph. One that says, I was broken, but I rebuilt. I was lost, but I kept walking. I was hurt, but I never surrendered. And the best part, once you've gone through that kind of suffering, you'll be able to help others not from theory, but from experience. You'll speak and they'll listen. Not because of your words, but because of your weight. Your energy will speak louder than any motivational quote ever could. So if you're in the fire right now, don't curse it. Use it. Because on the other side of suffering is a version of you that can't be stopped. And the only way to meet that version is to earn it. Through pain, through sacrifice, through suffering. That's the gateway. Walk through it. So now you stand at the edge, hurting, doubting, questioning why life had to hit you this hard. But listen closely. This isn't the end. This is the part where most people give up, where the weak retreat, where the world expects you to fold, but not you, not now. Because everything you've been through, every crack in your soul, every night you thought you wouldn't make it, that wasn't to destroy you, to build you. Suffering isn't your curse, it's your calling. It's the storm that forces you to become something greater than you ever imagined. You don't come out of this as the same person. You come out stronger, wiser, more dangerous than ever. The pain you feel today is shaping the power you'll carry tomorrow. So take the hurt, take the anger, take the heartbreak, and use it. Mold it. Let it fuel you. Because there's a version of you on the other side of this suffering that's unbreakable. But you'll never meet them if you quit now. So rise. Not because it's easy, not because you feel ready, but because you've decided you won't be defeated. Suffering is the gateway. Strength is waiting. Walk through it.